At some point in my life, I came to realize something. And this is actually going to be a common realization, but not many people really sit down and think about it deeply. And I came to realize that no one is coming. No one is coming to save me. I realized that no one is going to help me reach my potential. No one is going to help me get back up when I fall. No one is going to happen. No one is going to come to fix my finances. No one is going to come to help me build that perfect body or the body that I wanted to build. No one is coming to check up on me uh, with the decisions that we make. No one is going to come to help me fix my um, terrible or bad habits. And I'm actually not the main character in other people's lives. And it's not that the world is unfair to me specifically or to anyone for that matter. It's just that the world is indifferent and everyone is preoccupied. Everyone is struggling. Everyone is managing their own actions. Everyone is trying to survive. And I just, the world just isn't against me or something. The world isn't against anyone. It's just that's how things are. And so I want to say this again. It's not something that's uncommon. It's just that not many people really sit down and think about it. And I decided, to take a few minutes of my time to actually think about that transition from how I used to think things are going to be to how things are, and maybe to how my future will look like. And so this brought me to my next chain of thought, which is a little bit about that illusion. Let me call it an illusion of how I thought things were going to be. And so this is based on observations of both myself and of many people I've been able to meet, both young and old. And a couple of things I noted down is that we used to believe that if we are talented, naturally someone will notice, or if we are struggling, someone will come and help, or if we are patient, things will work out. If you are patient and just not doing anything, that's what I mean. When I'm just sitting down and I just hope things will be better. And this really just brings me back to my childhood. Of course, I'm not quite old, but I'm quite old also. And I know for some people, they have been able to learn, they've been able to observe this also. And of course, it's not the truth. At least it's not the complete truth. And some of us are lucky to have learned it the easier way. Maybe we were guided, maybe we were informed, and some the hard way. And so you realize that even the little things we used to assume are going to work out, and because there are people who used to come in and help us work it out. Even the tiny things such as falling, um, getting sick. Somebody will come and help you out. Struggling, let's say in a little um, something you're trying to do, somebody will always be there to give you a push. And this really, we really assume many of these things, and it's really kind of a subconscious thing. We really don't know how those little things we used to believe, how they affect the people we end up becoming. Because I do believe in general, pretty much every grown adult knows that they're an adult and that life is their own, but we don't really, fully grasp to what extent is life our own, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to try to explain it further. And so this is what I mean. Um, if we look to our adulthood, this is something I'm able to observe. Most grown, older people, they tend to do things which, if you really think about it, is linked to that belief we used to have as kids of like things are going to be okay. And it's about waiting. What I mean by waiting is um, what people have observed keep telling me or tell themselves and then tell me was that they're always planning. For example, they want to try something new. Maybe they want to try a business. Maybe they want to do that course. Maybe they want to move out of the country. They always say that I'm planning or I'm preparing or the time is not right. And if you really think about it, waiting or this whole I'm planning, I'm going to do it is really comfortable. And it's a really comfortable feeling you get. You really feel safe when you're telling yourself, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going um, to do that, but not right now. And if you think about it, when you're waiting, you're not risking. You're not risking to fail. You're not risking embarrassment, and you're not risking to put yourself in a position whereby you have to pull yourself up. And it still comes back. For me, when you were kids, you really had that understanding that you can always reach out to your guardian, your mom, your dad, or whoever, and they're gonna come in and help you. But now you know subconsciously that if you fail, nobody is actually gonna come, you know, and pick you up. And it's like it reduces the amount of risks we we take, because now it's up to me. And so it's a big problem because time doesn't really wait for anyone. Um, Skills that you used to have will decay. The energy we used to have will continue declining. You can compare how jumpy 10-year-olds are versus a 40-year-old man or woman, and the responsibilities will definitely increase. And it's like it compounds. The more I wait, the more I won't risk, but it's like the more I'm going to risk later on because of how life is going to be at that later date. And so this brought me to my next thought, which is actually just a reiteration, whereby every minute, second, month, or year, whereby I delay an action I want to undertake or do, um, it becomes harder for me to do it. And practically, what this means is that, and I wrote down, the version I am right now in my 20s will not view risk as the version I'll be when I'm 40, versus also the version I'll be when I'm 60. And this still gets tied back to, the energy I'll have and how much risk I'm able, literally, it's not even about willing to take, but able to take. And around me, I have observed that if I were to ask the people around me who are older, um, people in their 40s, people in their 60s, and I usually tend to ask them what's the one thing they've always wanted to do, but they've never been able to do. and they tell me it's this and this, and then I tell them, I ask them, why haven't they done it? And then they say they just don't know. They just realized many years later that the responsibilities have become too much, the risks are too high, and they just can't. I've had, specifically, I've had this many times. It's the whole thing of I got kids, and I just can't. And of course, children are blessings. That's what I believe. But I still just don't understand. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have any kids, and maybe it's even more reason why I want to do the things I want to do right now. And I also try to tie it to my next chain of thoughts, which were about being responsible, having radical responsibility, knowing that I am the main character of my life. That's the first thing, and there's a lot which is expected from that main character, the main character, which is me, in my own life. And so I tell myself, I was asking myself, what would happen if I was informed, I was put in a situation and I was informed that there is no rescue. Um, I've been told that nobody is actually going to help me push through of the situation, and me or literally any other person. What change? What kind of change will happen to that individual? Um, will such an individual take an action because he feels like it, or because he must take that action? And I genuinely believe that responsibility is powerful. It's power. Yeah, I have to take control of myself, of my own life, and it's not because it makes me feel amazing, which actually it does make me feel amazing, and that what, actually it's up to me, and that's great. And it's not because it makes me feel better than my peers or people older or younger than me, and it's because I must, and it's okay. And my habits, my discipline, my choices, everything's up to me, and there's no more waiting for somebody else. If I'm gonna succeed, I'm gonna do it myself. If I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fail spectacularly by myself, and that's okay. And it reminded me of a certain tweet I saw. It's more of like a philosophical tweet, and the person was saying that there are numerous philosophical theories when it comes to life and free will. And he mentioned many, and the one that I personally follow, at least for now, is that we are all condemned to freedom. I personally believe that it all rests on that individual's shoulders. I believe my path is directed by my own choices. I believe that my external circumstances affects, but only to an extent. I don't like this whole thought of, like, I've been born in a certain region and life is gonna be so unfair to me versus somebody born in another place. Maybe I wasn't born in some castle. My dad is not a king. I don't like telling myself that that's the reason why I shouldn't try to achieve. And there are numerous stories of people who are in worse situations than me, and they've gone to do exceptionally well. So that's the kind of belief I have personally. It's up to me. The external environment can only do so much, and it won't matter at the end of the day. And so, yeah, I've said a lot. And so, this is my closing remark. I believe no one is coming, no one is going to rescue me. However, it doesn't mean that I'm abandoned, by the way. or that I don't have myself. And that's amazing. See you on the next one.